I've got some extremely bad news, I've got some good news, and I got some hopium for you guys this morning. And now the price of Bitcoin, 90,100. And we have something interesting happening. Last night, if you tuned in for the live stream or you saw my videos, I was hoping we would break 93,500. We're still trying to break that, and we have put in a higher low here. So all eyes on 89,200. I am hoping we can continue this upward trend and we can break 93,500. Now, we do have a few ways to look at this pattern right here. You could say it's an ascending triangle. You could say it's a wedge. But basically, the way I'm looking at it is if we break 93,000, it's going to be a little bit more bullish in my eyes. And then if we start to break this region of 86,000 and we lose this line of support here, then most likely we'll come down to this region right here. I know people don't want to hear that, but we've got to prepare for both sides of the coin. So I ask you now, what will you do if we drop down to 70,000? Is your plan to DCA? Is your plan to sell and buy back lower? And I want to make sure that everyone understands what I'm talking about. I really saw this tweet here. I liked it because it pointed out something that I was asked yesterday in my live stream about dollar cost averaging. Because if you DCA into something that you believe will be up in the next 5 to 10 years, that's a very long-term time horizon. That's what I think works. That's what's made me the most amount of money. But I've not done that with smaller assets. So yes, you can choose something random. I'm not pointing at this coin right here at all. This was just an example. But dollar cost averaging into something that has quite a high likelihood of going to zero is not what I'm doing. I'm dollar cost averaging into things like Bitcoin, things like Ethereum, things like the S&P 500, things like property. In my mind, those things are 99% chance of not going to zero. Bitcoin is, of course, a little bit more risky than that. Maybe it's like a 60-70% chance of not going to zero, but it could. But not DCAing into random altcoins is what protected me this run, okay? I did DCA in the bear market into Solana, XRP, some exchange tokens, and a few other things. But because they were large caps, they didn't have a chance to go to zero. It protected the downside. So I just wanted to point this out, right? Because according to this guy, Victor, averaging down can be okay as long as you have a safeguard against doing it indefinitely to zero. My safeguard, right, would be buying things like Bitcoin, all right? Maybe that turns out to be wrong, but that's what I think has the highest likelihood in the crypto market. And that's why I'm willing to DCA into it. Now, the bad news I have for you guys, Jim Cramer says he's bullish on Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's terrible. We do not want that. The inverse Cramer means that wrecked city we're going to be in a second, because he said so many people throw away their money on garbage crypto when they could just buy Ethereum and Bitcoin. And I'm afraid I actually agree with what he's saying. I'm obviously joking about the inverse Cramer, although we have seen that come into fruition basically. But buying Bitcoin and Ethereum, right, is buying Bitcoin is what's made me a lot of money. Buying Ethereum hasn't really made us much money, but I am still up significantly. Even in the low leverage trade here, the Ethereum position never went into a loss, right? Because it stayed above 2,200, which is where we got into it. Now, it wasn't groundbreaking gains like we had for Bitcoin, but it was good nonetheless. And yeah, just DCAing, taking away the stress of trying to find all of these altcoins, the next 100x, all of that. I took away all of that a while ago, and it's really worked well for me, guys. Keeping my portfolio small in the number of things I'm in: Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and of course Doge. Those are the only things I'm leveraging right now. Then I have Solana, Ethereum, XRP, and a few others in my spot bag, and I just wait patiently, building up those positions given whatever scenario we have in the market. We have a lot of good things happening, plus Bitcoin touching the 36-week RSI. This has only happened 4 times in history, according to Ash Crypto. The 2015 bear market, the 2018 bear market, the old Rona crash, and the 2022 bear market. And now the 2025 correction. This is potentially telling us that 2026 might be bullish if history tells us anything to go on. Now, of course, there is no guarantees in this market, but that is what is happening right now. And to take a look at our most important data, or my most important data, guys, $210 million in wrecked positions, 50-50 long and shorts, continuing to liquidate both sides of the coin because nobody has any patience and everyone wants to trade with massive leverage. We have 10 billion in shorts. We have 5 billion in longs, showing us that there is more liquidity that lies above us than below us. But what we need is some bullish momentum. So let me know if you think that the 25% or the 25 basis point rate cut could be the bullish momentum we need. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.